I request every one of you to read this article in India Today on stress. And this is because the article very beautifully tells us and shows us with the pictures and diagrams and infographics on how stress affects us, how it affects our body, how it affects our body systems, our psychology and our life. Now, of course, the article covers all these things about adults, which means about people like us who are working, who are family members, who have stress about work, about relationships, etc. But it does not talk about children. And I would like to say that everything that you read in that India Today article about stress, how it affects your HPA axis, how it affects your kidneys, your liver, your heart, your hormones, etc. That same thing applies to children as well. What we are seeing today is children from a very young age are going through the exactly same kind of stress that we as adults would be going through in our 30s and 40s. This is because in the olden times when we were kids, we did not have so many structured activities. We did not have back-to-back tuition classes, hobby classes, social media where we had to perform because of our parents wanted to, put up reels, etc., etc. We had a lot of unstructured time. I remember when I was growing up as a child, we had at least 2 to 3 hours in the evening after school when we would go to the park, we would play, we would climb trees, we would play with our friends and only go home when mom used to call us 3-4 times by dinner time, about 8 o'clock. Today what I am seeing is children already have pressure at school. That we all know because there are 7-8 subjects. Each subject teacher wants the child to be best in his or her subject. So the child has subject specific pressure from school. Once the child comes home, there is not only pressure about the schoolwork, but there is also pressure from the mother and fathers about behavior, about manners, about values, about discipline. So put your shoes properly, put your uniform properly, comb your hair properly, talk properly. When you see relatives, this is how you should behave, don't do this, don't do that. So there's a whole bunch of things that mums want their kids to do. There is a pressure and stress there as well. And on top of it now, these same kids are now put into hobby classes. So if the child accidentally happens to love dancing, the mother and father will immediately put them into the dance class. If the child loves art, they will immediately put into an art class. Now there is a difference between enjoying art and dance versus learning it in a class. Once you put a child in a structured hobby class, again there is stress because the teacher is now giving the child different processes, methods, systems, and every day the child has to go there till the point the child gets sick of that hobby. So as you see today, even in small children as young as 5 and 6, they are back to back in structured activities, and every structured activity causes a stress because structure is stressful. And hence these kids start showing stress symptoms much early on. In the early years up to 15, 16, 18, you don't realize because bodies are resilient. But today we are seeing children already showing up the signs of hormonal imbalances, obesity, early thyroid, and autoimmune disorders like hives or psoriasis at a very early stage. And these are all symptoms of a body system that has gone out of balance because of stress. Today children are showing up stress very, very early in their lives. In their 30s, already in late 20s and 30s, people are getting diagnosed with high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, thyroid. All of these are outcomes of stress. I would say, please give your children unstructured playtime. If your child loves dancing, doesn't mean the child is going to love going to a dance class. In fact, the child might stop loving dance if you put him in a dance class. With my own son, he loved art, and we very consciously did not put him in an art class after he came back once or twice saying he doesn't like it, because that completely made it structured and it completely marred his creativity. So what I'm saying, parents, is that yes, children have structured time in school, let them do that. They have stress at school, it is okay. Do not add to their stress at home, and do not put them in additional classes like tuition, hobby classes, personality building development classes, public speaking classes to just add to their stress. If the child enjoys it, if the child feels relaxed because of that, great. But if it is only adding pressure to the child and to you, then please do not put your child in these classes. Give them more and more unstructured playtime so they can really develop themselves on their own in things that they like. So read the article in India Today on stress. It is very impactful. This is exactly what we also teach and talk and discuss in our Journey Within workshop, which we are doing this weekend. And we also teach you techniques on how to manage stress. If you are parents of children and you feel you are stressed and your children are stressed and you want to learn ways to discipline them or work with them without stress, also join our positive parenting workshop, because we will be teaching you self-regulation techniques for yourselves as well as how to work with your children. So this is what I wanted to say today. I hope this helps.